seems to me um, like the things he explains in their infancy at the beginning of the science-ish. It's been going on for a long time. The things he's describing are things we can readily, if we're looking for it, readily see in front of us. Like, just so many things. All families tend to follow the same schedule. Think of how many of the people that you drive to work with, and they are all driving to work at the same time. I mean, you get to make, you can make road buddies. Oh, there's Tom. Oh, he must have been in a wreck because he didn't have that dent before. And you don't know who he is, but you have a familiarity. I remember, I don't know what this has to do with this, but it has to do with something. And I'll talk about anything. So I was living in the new town, and then I went to visit my old town. And when I went to Walmart, I felt differently comfortable because I knew all those people in my hometown Walmart, and I didn't know anybody in Newtown Walmart. Do you really pay attention to the people around you when you're shopping? No, but you see them. Some part of your mind sees them, and they're known to you. That's a fascinating psychological thing all by itself, which would harken back to my book, Minding the Manipulated Mind. Actually, not Minding Mind. It would harken back to the manipulated mind, that we have different conditions and stimulus in our environment that build up our environment. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We are going to try to read. Have I captured you for 2 minutes? I highly doubt it. I'm not that interesting or popular. Oh, I need intelligent people to just plug that like button and subscribe, but I'm just doing this for the few. Or the future. For the few and for the future. And for me, I'm becoming a better reader. Nah. We hope. Here we go, 3 minutes in. Start with the railroad. Or, a railroad may be urged to put on a fast train for the sake of the prestige which it will lend to the road's name, and hence to its stocks and bonds. If the corset maker, for instance, wished to bring the product into fashion again, he would unquestionably advise that the plan was impossible, since women have definitely emancipated themselves from the old-style corset. Yet his fashion advisors might report that women might be persuaded to adopt a certain type of girdle, which eliminated the unhealthful features of the corset. His next effort is to analyze his public. He studies the groups which must be reached, and the leaders through whom he may approach these groups. Social groups, economic groups, geographical groups, age groups, doctrinal groups, language groups, cultural groups, all these represent his divisions through which, on behalf of his client, he may talk to the public. Only after this double analysis has been made and the results collated has the time to come for the next they talked weird in the 1920s has the time come for the next step. So only after this double analysis has the time come for the next step, the formulation of policies governing the general practice, procedure, and habits of the client in all those aspects in which he comes into contact with the public. And only when these policies have been agreed upon is it time for the fourth step. The first recognition of the distinct functions of the Public Relations Council arose, perhaps in the early years of the present century, as a result of the insurance scandals coincident with the muckraking of corporate finance in the popular magazines. The interests thus attacked suddenly realized that they were completely out of touch with the public they were professing to serve, and required expert advice to show them how they could understand the public and interpret themselves to it. The Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, prompted by the most fun. It's the way it goes. We're going to try the pause button. Did it work? Did I pause? Ah! Ooh. All right. Initiated a conscious... Okay. The Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, prompted by the most fundamental self-interest, initiated a conscious, directed effort to bring the attitude of the public toward insurance companies in general, and toward itself in particular, to its profit and the public's benefits. It tried to make a majority movement of itself by getting the public to buy its policies. It reached the public at every point of its corporate and separate existences. To communities, it gave health surveys and expert counsel. To individuals, it gave health creeds and advice. Even the building in which the corporation was located was made a picturesque landmark to see and remember. In other words, to carry on the associative process. And so, this company came to have a broad general acceptance. The number and amount of its policies grew constantly, and its broad contacts with society increased. Its broad contacts with society increased. Like a good neighbor. Within a decade, many large corporations were employing public relations counsel under one title or another, for they had come to realize that they depended upon public goodwill for their continued prosperity. It was no longer true that it was none of the public's business how the affairs of a corporation were managed. They were obliged to convince the public that they were conforming to its demands as to honesty and fairness. Transparency. Thus, a corporation might discover that its labor policy was causing public resentment, and might introduce a more enlightened policy solely for the sake of general goodwill. Or, a department store, hunting for the cause of diminishing sales, might discover that its clerks had a reputation for bad manners, and initiate former instruction in courtesy and tact. We should do that now. YouTube's got like a whole bunch of videos on how to have good manners and, do well. They come from the 50s, and the 50s kids used to make fun of them because it wasn't reality, but you know what? You can make it reality if you really wanted to. It's good brainwashing. We'd have better fucking country. Let's, how to have etiquette. They're little black and white instructional films. Corning Company. I don't know, but I loved them. The public relations expert may also be the public relations experts may be known as public relations director or counsel. Often he is called secretary or vice president or director. Sometimes he is known as cabinet officer or commissioner. By whatever title he may be called, his function is well defined, and his advice has been printed on this other page. Definite bearing on the conduct of the group or individual with whom he is working. Many persons still believe that the Public Relations Counsel is a propagandist and nothing else. But, on the other hand, the stage at which many suppose he starts his activities may actually be the stage at which he ends them. After the public and the client are thoroughly analyzed and policies have been formulated, his work may be finished. In other cases, the work of the Public Relations Counsel must be continuous to be effective. For in many instances, only by a careful system of constant, thorough, and frank information will the public understand and appreciate the value of what a merchant, educator, or statesman is doing. The Council on The Council on Public Relations must maintain constant vigilance because inadequate information or false information from an unknown source may have results of enormous importance. A single false rumor at a critical moment may drive down the price of a corporation's stock. Oh, we've seen them doing that, haven't we? We've seen TikTok's about to close down and all the stocks crashing. Ho 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 ho! Sorry, it's back on, and the stock goes back up. How in the hell can a decision made at midnight after work hours by the president, I think I'm going to use tariffs tomorrow, mean that the stock's going to drop overnight? I don't understand that. Do I have any economics students in the class? Alright, if I don't, y'all want me to read us an economics book? I don't have one. But if you want some boring shit, I got you. I'll get you. Anyway, I'm more in psychology. But the psychology of our economy is quite interesting as well. Sorry, did I get sidetracked again? This is why I'm not a teacher. I'm not a teacher because I get sidetracked. But it's okay because my students don't have nothing but 5 seconds of attention span, so I can totally do this. And they'll be okay with that. Are you ready to focus one more time? Focus. Son. Sorry, I'm in a goofy mood today. I'm just in a goofy mood. Taking my time with it. I don't know if it's ever going to be seen. You see that there? That's continuation of the blanket I'm working on for little Lily. I have any more grandchildren by the time I die. He'll probably get something too. And if I have any subscribers that want to visit for a long time and break their brains and fill them with facts, they will enjoy the entire creation process. Sorry, I'm in a goofy ass mood. Alright, get back. Alright, here we go. We're almost done with this chapter. We're doing very well. We don't read for shit today. I skimmed it. I kind of sped read it, not trying to pay attention, just capture things, and then we got a page, 2 pages, and then I thought that would make it smoother, and I think it did. So you always got to try new things, try new methods. Anyway, Granny's sidetracking like Granny does. This is what she does when she is coffee buzzed. Okay. Here we go. I'm also expecting something any minute now at the door. I'm going to be in the middle of reading when it comes. A single false rumor at a critical moment may drive down the price of a corporation's stock, causing a loss of millions to stockholders. An air of secrecy or mystery about the corporation's financial dealings may breed a general suspicion, capable of acting as an invisible drag on the company's whole dealings with the public. The Council on Public Relations must be in a position to deal effectively with rumors and suspicions, attempting to stop them at their source, counteracting them properly with correct or more complete information through channels which will be most effective, or, best of all, establish such relationships of confidence in the concern's integrity that rumors and suspicions will have no opportunity to take root. His function may include the discovery of new markets, the existence of which have been unsuspected. If we accept public relations as a profession, we must expect it to have ideals and ethics. The ideal of the profession is a pragmatic one. It is to make the producer, whether that producer be a legitimate making laws, or manufacturer making commercial product, understand what the public wants, and to make the public understand the objectives of the producer. Let's try this again. The ideal of the profession is a pragmatic one. It is to make the producer, whether that producer be a legislature making laws or a manufacturer making a commercial product, to make them understand what the public wants, and to make the public understand the objectives of the producer. In relation to industry, the ideal of the profession is to eliminate the waste and friction of that result when industry does things or makes things which its public does not want, or when the public does not understand what is being offered it. For example, the telephone companies maintain extensive public relations departments to explain what they are doing, so that energy may not be burnt up in the friction of misunderstanding. A detailed description, for example, of the immense and scientific care which the company takes to choose clearly understandable and distinguishable exchange names helps the public to appreciate the effort that is being made to give good service and stimulates it to cooperate with the by enunciating clearly. Try again. Choose clearly understandable and distinguishable exchange names helps the public to appreciate the effort that is being made to give good service and stimulates it to cooperate by enunciating clearly. It aims to bring about an understanding between educators and educated, between government and people, between charitable institutions and contributors, between nation and nation. The profession of public relations counsel is developing for itself an ethical code which compares favorably with that governing the legal and The profession of public relations counsel is developing for itself an ethical code which compares favorably with that governing the legal and medical professions. In part, this code is forced upon the public In part, this code is forced upon the Public Relations Counsel by the very conditions of his work. While recognizing, just as the lawyer does, that everyone has a right to present his case in its best light, he nevertheless refuses a client whom he believes too dishonest, a product which he believes to be fraudulent, or a cause, see, another typo, to be dishonest. Nevertheless refuses a client whom he believes to be dishonest, refuse a product which he believes to be fraudulent, or refuse a cause which he believes to be antisocial. Aha! Typos in this book are amazing! One reason for this is that, even though a special pleader, he is not dissociated from the client in the public mind. Another reason is that, while he is pleading before the court of public opinion, he is at the same time trying to affect that court's judgments and actions. In law, a judge and jury hold the deciding balance of power. In public opinion, the Public Relations Counsel is judge and jury because through his pleading of the case, the public may accede his opinion and judgment. He does not accept a client whose interests conflict with those of another client. He does not accept a client whose case he believes to be hopeless, or whose product he believes to be unremarkable. He should be candid in his dealings. It must be repeated that his business is not to fool or hoodwink the public. If he were to get such reputations, his usefulness in his profession would be at an end. When he is sending out propaganda material, it is clearly labeled as to source. The editor knows from whom it comes and what its purpose is, and accepts or rejects it on its merits as news. We will come back for chapter 4. Thank you for joining me in the pleasure of brain expansion.